Welcome, Cosmin.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. So I spotted some of you falling asleep earlier. So let's stand up a little bit. I know you're tired. Come on, help me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have some really good stuff to show you today. It's something practical. Yeah, a few more, please. Everybody, stand up. Thank you. Now let's do a selfie. Yeah. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, Cosmin loves to take their selfies.
So.
Yeah, let me introduce you first, Cosmin. In Turkish.
Please.
Yeah?
Please.
Cosmin Romanya'dan geliyor. SEO Monitör ürününün CEO'su. Onlar da ajans olarak başlayıp daha sonra bu ihtiyaçlarını bir ürüne dönüştürdüler ve ortaya böyle bir ürün çıktı. Kendisi cidden çok enerjik, şahane bir insan. Çok da sevdiğim bir dostum zaten. Bugün SEO'nun ölçümlenmesinden bahsedecek. Yani gün boyunca aslında SEO'nun birçok farklı alanından bir şeyler aldık. Ama işin ölçümleme kısmında dünyada not provided diye bir gerçek de var. İşte onlar da tam olarak bu gerçekle savaşıyorlar. O yönüyle bence çok değerli bir sunum olacak. Yes, thank you.
I don't know what you said, but I believe it was
yeah, you can understand positive things, not...
Okay. So, my presentation is about how to cope in this challenging environment of SEO. So, let's see. How many of you are still looking at rankings as primary KPI for your SEO campaigns? 40%, 50%? And how... and who is using Google Analytics organic traffic to measure their SEO KPIs? All of you. Okay. So then it will be interesting for you. So we all know those tools. We have a lot of data. We have Google Analytics with the organic traffic that we can measure there, but we still can't see the keywords that we're bringing traffic. We have Google AdWords, and this is very important for SEOs as well, because we have that quantity of searches per keywords. Of course, we have Majestic and Ahrefs and every link analysis tool. We have BuzzSumo with shares and content performance. We have lots of tools for keyword research. We have SEMrush with lots of data about keywords and historic data and search metrics as well. So we have all this data. We can collect a lot, and we can access that. But that's data. That it's just facts. So in order to get something like an insight, something that will give us the ability to improve our decisions, to improve our business, we need to connect those dots. We need to connect that data. So let's talk a bit about data versus insights. So I have an example here. The fact, the data. Twice as many people search for contact lenses in October compared to November, to September. So that's a fact. Google AdWords tells us that, and we can look at the data, but that's just a fact. The observation here would be, so we connect another information to that, is that the trend is followed by the search term colored lenses. So we know something more now. We connect it to information. And the last one is that we know that Halloween happens in October. So Halloween, this is the insight. Halloween drives interest in colored contact lenses and impacts the performance of the entire category. So now we understand why the data looks like that. And when we understand that, we can change our strategy, we can adapt, we can make some decisions. So remember this example. So today I'm going to introduce a different, a more insightful way of looking at the SEO performance. which will not only enable us to understand why the organic traffic is changing, but also to predict it. So this approach is not something we developed within our product. This presentation is not about our product. It's about our approach that we developed in the past 4 years with our agency, our SEO agency. For 4 years, we're doing only SEO. We're the leading SEO agency in Romania. And yes, we developed a product that helps us succeed. But the approach is what I'm going to talk about today. So we started in 2007, but in 2012, we switched only to SEO, from a full digital marketing agency to only an SEO agency. And that's because when you're small, if you focus all of your resources, time and money, in just one direction, you will be more powerful. You will succeed, rather than trying to do all the stuff that a digital agency is doing. But that's not about digital agencies or agencies. It's about business in general. So this approach helps us successfully run over 100 campaigns per year, with 90% of them above the targets. And we do that first because we can understand what's behind the SEO performance, why we're performing or not. We learn from our activity, from our actions, from our strategies. And second is that we are able to predict it really realistically and accurately. So I structured the presentation in 3 parts. The first one is understanding the organic traffic. So all of you are following the organic traffic in Google Analytics or Adobe Analytics and so on. But the organic traffic is composed of branded visits, branded searches that generate visits, and non-branded ones. So think about it. The branded searches, then the branded organic traffic is actually direct traffic. It's the same thing if I'm searching for Hepsiburada in Google, or I'm just writing the URL in the address bar of my browser. I just want to go on that website to visit it. So it's direct traffic. So until we split that, we don't know what is the real SEO performance that we have. And if the brand is bigger, the awareness is bigger, then it will be more branded traffic and direct traffic within that organic traffic. So you will not be able to measure it. So if you can't measure it, if you can't tell from one day to another if you're going better or worse, it's hard to understand if you did something good or not, and to understand what you have to do next. So branded traffic is direct traffic, non-branded is SEO traffic. It's the real performance that you get from your visibility in Google. Oh, let's go back a little bit. So we have now the new Search Console from Google. And the data, from our point of view, is more accurate, and the interface is easier to use. So now you can just go there and use the filter that you can put on the queries, and you just add your brand name in that filter, and you will get the number of clicks. Yes, you will not get the visits and the conversions, but you will get the number of visits that are coming from brand-related searches. We made one step further, and we use now in our product a technique. We're taking the landing pages from Google Analytics with all the data, visits, conversions, revenue, and the keywords and the clicks on landing pages in Google Search Console, and we merge the data through landing pages, and we get back the keywords with their visits and conversions. And then we split that into buckets: SEO traffic and brand-related traffic, so non-branded and branded. But it's still good enough to look at that particular data to understand how much of the clicks, of the visits, are coming from brand-related searches and non-brand-related searches. So the next one is very important. The non-brand organic traffic is influenced only by your website's visibility in Google, and that means the keywords and their ranks, and their search volume and their search trends. So their seasonality. So that's whenever the traffic goes up or down, it's one of the two, or both. It's either the seasonality of the keywords that are generating traffic for your website right now, so the keywords you're visible for, or your SEO performance goes up or down, or together. But that's all. So now, because we know that, we can go further. So let's do this exercise. Let's say, for the sake of simplicity, let's say you have a website and you rank for only 3 keywords. The keywords have their corresponding search volume, their ranks in October, and their rank in November. So who believes that this website performs better in November than in October? Come on, it's pretty clear. So, and if it's not clear, it's even more important. So the next one would be with 5. You're getting slower. It's harder to calculate that. So the next step would be, our brain can't really cope with that kind of metrics and information on rows with different metrics that somehow combines in order to show me the visibility. So if we translate, it doesn't matter how many keywords I measure, because the problem is, if you have 3 keywords, yes, it's easy to understand if you're going better or worse from one day to another. But if you have 1,000, it's harder. You can't really understand. Some of the keywords will go up, some of the keywords will go down. Some of the keywords are high search volume keywords, others are low search volume keywords. Some of the keywords are losing top positions, others are losing positions that doesn't matter anyway, don't matter. So if we take the search volume and the rank of each keyword, we can estimate the number of impressions that we get, our website, our results get in Google. So from the total search volume, how many of the people that see the Google results page are really seeing our result? It's not rocket science. You just have to look in Google Search Console, and you can get the number, the impression rate of each rank. If you look at the non-branded keywords, you can also look at the standard impression rates that you can find in a research, a study. But the idea here is that if you multiply the corresponding impression rate of your rank and you multiply that with the search volume, you get the number, an estimated number of impressions. So if we would rank number 1 for keyword number 1, we would have 10,000 impressions from the 10,000 searches. So if we do that, even for thousands of keywords, at the bottom we would have the total search volume, how many people are searching for the entire keyword list, and the total impressions that your result gets. So that's transforming the keyword list into one metric that you can measure from one day to another. So you do something now, and you see the result. Is it better or worse? And let's go further. We can do it better. So it's clear now that in November we have about 13,000 impressions, and in October we had about 10,000 impressions. And it's not about the number. It's about comparing apples with apples. You want to understand if you go better or worse. So if we transform that into percentages, so we just divide the total estimated impressions to the total search volume, we will get a percentage from 0 to 100. Is 100 when you rank number 1 for the entire keyword list, and it's 0% when you don't rank with any keyword in the first 2 pages. So now it's even easier to understand. It doesn't matter how many impressions they are. It's just how much of that potential you're really exploring there. You really get, and you can see now from October to November we increased our visibility score with 17%. So it's easy to understand. Done at scale in our app, we do this. We segment this with desktop and mobile. We have different groups. And we can see, yes, the total visibility decreased, but which groups were affected or which groups increased in this time? Because the idea is that if you don't look at the big picture for the entire keyword list, not the 100 keywords that you're targeting, all the keywords that are generating traffic, you have to know their search volume and their ranks. And it's good to have them on a daily basis, because on a daily basis you can easily, and you can be faster, you can act quickly if something goes wrong, or you can understand what action did what improvement and where was that improvement, so you can locate the improvement or the drop. So the next part would be, if you remember the first example with data and insight, would be to do the same thing, but with our SEO reports, with our SEO metrics. So these are real examples. The fact, you can see the blue line is growing. That's the non-brand organic traffic. So we already segmented the traffic. That's the non-brand organic traffic. On a monthly basis, 4 months, is going up. We can be happy that it's going up, but if we don't understand why, we don't control the process. We don't have control. So the observation will be the visibility stays constant. The visibility is the dotted line. So we don't get any improvement in our rankings, but the traffic goes up. So what can it be? If it's not visibility, if it's not SEO performance, is seasonality. So we now know that seasonality is behind the growth. And you can see the vertical bars that shows us the total number of searches on our entire keyword list on those 4 months. So it's pretty clear how the non-brand organic traffic chart is composed. Let's take another example. We see here that the non-brand organic traffic grows, but the vertical bars are going down. So searches decreased by 40%. So seasonality is not helping us. But we can see the dotted line that is growing. And that's because on our keyword list, we rank better. We have better positions, so we have a greater visibility. And visibility increases 3 times while the searches decrease. So actually the visibility increased more than 3 times. The traffic, if the searches, the seasonality wouldn't go down, our traffic would be higher. And the insight here would be our content marketing campaign had a great impact on website visibility. But we can connect that dot if we put on our chart an annotation. We connect, as we connected Halloween with October, we should connect our content marketing campaign with that period of time. So if we only did the content marketing campaign at that particular moment, then we can connect the data, we can connect the dots, and we can get the insight. And now we know that we should continue to do that because it's working. Another one. Let's take a drop this time. So the traffic will drop on 17th of October. So now we see the chart on a daily basis. So we see that from one day to another, our traffic drops. And we also see that the dotted line, so the visibility score, we already saw how the visibility score is calculated. If we do that on a daily basis, we can see how the visibility score, so basically our SEO performance, is affecting the traffic. And then if we add details on the timeline, and here is one Google Webmaster Tool message, the search console now, that there's a malware infection on our website, we can connect that information. So the malware infection that Google found on our website affected our rankings and our visibility, and the traffic dropped. So we are in control now because we know what happened. When we know how to diagnose the situation, we control the situation because we understand it. Otherwise, you'd see the drop and you'll start to look for answers. And you'll lose time. So all of this, to come to the next one, the next part of my presentation, is how we forecast. Because when we gain that control, when we understand how organic traffic is composed, when we are able to split that data, to segment that data and connect the dots, that's when we understand how it works and we can predict it. And the reason we're above our targets for 90% of our campaigns is because we're good at forecasting. So again, the non-brand organic traffic trend, without any change in visibility, is only influenced by search trends. So to forecast our traffic, considering that there will be no change in visibility, so for 12 months, for the next 12 months, let's say our visibility will not change. No change in rankings. That means our traffic will be only influenced by seasonality. And we have that seasonality from AdWords, right? We just have to get the keywords that are generating traffic from Google Search Console. We put them in Google AdWords. We take their seasonality and we extrapolate the traffic that we have today to this month with how it will evolve in time if there will be no change in visibility. So because we are able to segment the two, to split the two factors that are influencing the organic traffic, we can now have one forecast for the situation when we will not change anything in our visibility, and one if we successfully implement a strategy and achieve a goal that we target. So the next one would be to set our SEO goal. So most of the SEOs can talk about and can create goals in terms of rankings. Yeah, it is the core SEO indicator. The core SEO KPI is rankings. The problem with rankings is that it will not help me understand the real value of the campaign, will not help me present that KPI to a manager or to a client if we are an agency. So we want to translate that into something that we can measure easily and that can translate in business metrics. So let's say, another easy example, let's say for the next 12 months, we want all the keywords that are ranking in the second page to go in the first page, because if they are in the first page, they will start to generate traffic. So if we do the same spreadsheet calculations that I showed you earlier, we can calculate the visibility score, how the visibility score will change. So now we have a real goal in terms of SEO performance. So going back to the example with 3 keywords to be easy to understand. I know you're tired. If you will have questions afterwards, we can talk about these examples. So let's say our current rank for the 3 keywords that we rank for are 5, 5, and 30 with their corresponding search volume. So we know how to calculate the number of impressions. So let's say we have new targets. Our goal would be, let's take keyword number 1 to rank number 1 after the 12 months, keyword number 2 to be in top 3, and keyword number 3 the same. So we can now look at the targeted impressions. How will the visibility score look like when we will get to that that goal? The problem with the impression rates here is that will not tell us visits and revenue and conversions. So if we change the impression rate, if we switch the impression rate with CTR, with click-through rate, and there are lots of researches out there, you can get the standard CTRs that, of course, they are not really accurate. But again, you want to have a good estimation, something that is achievable. And you take that for each rank and multiply with the search volume, and you get now not the number of impressions, not only the visibility score, but you get the additional visits that you will receive if you successfully implement your SEO strategy. And if you plot that data, you can get to an overview. So let's look in depth to this. So we have 2 charts. One is orange, one is green. The orange chart is showing us how the non-brand organic traffic will evolve in time if we don't do anything and nothing changes, no visibility change. So of course, things happen, algo updates, ranks fluctuate all the time. But we have to have a baseline. Like if we don't do anything, most probably we will stay there. But if we successfully get to our goal, we have the last point on the green chart. So that's our calculation from the previous slide. So is that spreadsheet with estimated clicks today and estimated clicks if we reach our target. So now we can quantify, we can calculate the value of our campaign. So if we look at the green line, is everything that is green from that area chart is additional visits, is additional business that we get there. So we can have now a business case overview. Traffic without our SEO campaign for the 12 months, traffic with our SEO campaign. So how many additional visits? And if we multiply that with the business indicators from Google Analytics on our non-brand organic traffic, we have the average cart, if it is an e-commerce, or the average value of the conversion, if it's not an e-commerce. And we have the average conversion rate for the non-brand organic traffic. If you multiply that with the additional number of visits, we now quantify our SEO campaign, as Google AdWords can do that and other campaigns. So it's not intangible anymore. So we also have the ability, because we know the number of additional visits and we know the CPC, right, for each keyword. So what's the cost for each visit on each keyword. We can estimate how much you would pay for an AdWords campaign that will bring the same visits. So now it's easier to understand if what's the value of the SEO campaign. And if you're an agency, of course, you can calibrate your budget to that, and you can decide if that client should do SEO or AdWords. And if you're in-house, you can try to understand where your efforts and budgets should go. Is it AdWords or SEO? We also calculate the probability. So if you choose keywords that are very hard to rank for, very hard for your website, for your situation, in your circumstances, and you want to go top 3 with most of them, most probably that will not happen. So we also try to be realistic in that SEO goal, and we try to translate the realistic goal in something that may happen in the future. Of course, that's not going to happen if you don't successfully implement your strategy. So this is just helping you set achievable goals. You still have to do the hard job. And here's the trick. If you're using the visibility score and you're measuring it on a daily basis, and you put that on the chart with the organic traffic, the non-brand organic traffic, and you add all your activities on the chart, you'll be able to validate learnings. You'll be able to validate your actions or invalidate them. And you'll stop doing whatever is not working for you, and you will do whatever works for you. So you start to have little bets. You should not just come at a conference and get all the ideas that you get there and just start to do them just because you think they work. They may work for somebody in a market, in an industry, at a particular moment. It may not work in your circumstances, in your market, for your client, or for your website today. So you should always validate what you do. Of course, the entire chart is based on data at a keyword level. So we have all the data at the keyword level, and we compose that, we calculate that, and get the charts. And think about it. These charts will include only the keywords that you have there, and most probably will not include all the long tails that follow. So you still have a backup. This is the pessimistic version of your forecast. If you successfully implement your campaign and you get to your goals, most probably you'll have more traffic than the estimation. So it's the pessimistic version of the estimation. Okay, so for us, this turns an SEO pitch into an offer our clients can't refuse, because they now can compare that data with the data that they get, with the value that they get from other campaigns. So that just turns a proposal, a pitch, into something that they can understand. You translate all the technical stuff, all the things that are not tangible, like ranks and visibility. The visibility is important, but not just to show you that there's an opportunity, and to help you understand if you're performing well or not. But it will not help you understand how much value, business value you get from that. So let's sum it up. Track non-brand organic traffic. Google Search Console with filters will help you with that. If you want to go to the next level, would be to have a script that just combines the data from Google Search Console and Google Analytics. Track search trends and visibility score separately and put them on the same chart. And add there, and that's for the entire keyword list, not just for your targeted list. Because you may have 100 keywords that you're targeting, and they are performing well, and you lose visibility for other keywords, for other 1,000 keywords. So you want to see that, because otherwise your traffic will go down and you will not understand why. And of course you can add keywords that you're not ranking yet for, but you plan to rank for, so you can add them there. Put all of them on the same chart, because that's when you connect the dots and you get from data to insights. And then you understand what's happening there, and you gain control in an environment of extreme uncertainty, when nobody really has control. But you gain that control when you understand what's happening. And put everything there. You can put algo updates, Google Search Console messages, 404s, your activities, anything that you think may influence your visibility and your traffic. Then you have to estimate how the non-brand organic traffic will change if there will be no change in visibility. Extrapolate what you have right now with the seasonality of the keywords that are generating that traffic. And then, again, you can estimate the additional number of visits using spreadsheets or tools or scripts for your SEO goal, which may be one that it's easier to perceive as an SEO. Like this group of keywords can go in the top 10 positions or top 5 positions because there's an opportunity. They are already ranking in the second page, or because you decide that the website will rank easier for them. And then you just have to use the CTRs, the search volumes, for the targeted ranks at a keyword level, and then you have the new keywords with their ability to generate traffic, and you extrapolate that, or you put that on an exponential chart, or an exponential curve, because it's harder in the beginning and easier at the end. In the beginning, you try to understand what works or not. In the beginning, you start to change the platform, you start to bring links, and so on. So the key benefits from using this approach is, again, you gain control. It makes SEO tangible for the people that are not experts, not SEOs. They don't have your brain, your mind, your experience. It helps us speak the same language with them, with the budget owner. It can be a CEO, it can be a marketing manager, it can be just a startup that wants to understand their opportunity. We can tell if we are on track or not all the time, every day. So for all of our campaigns, we're running about 80, 100 campaigns at a time. So we always want to see if, every day we want to see which campaigns are not on target. And we do that just looking at our forecast, where we estimate it to be and what's the reality. And we just take the last 30 days and we divide the real number that we have, the non-brand organic traffic for the last 30 days, with what we estimated in our forecast. And we know if we are on target or not. And if we are not, we don't let it like that. We try to understand what's happening there. And we communicate with our clients. And we work together to get the 100% that we target. And if we believe we can't go to that 100%, if we believe at some point that we can't achieve our target, we explain why, because we understand why. And we do another forecast. So we can learn what works and what doesn't from analyzing the results of our actions. That's very important in this industry. It's changing at a fast pace. Google is changing, consumer behavior is changing, competitors are changing their strategy and they are doing actions. Everything is changing. So if you don't understand the results of your actions, you don't learn. And this is the most competitive advantage that you may have, to learn from your experience. And the experience of an agency, I think, beats any experience of an in-house team, just because it has access. It is exposed to so many correlations like that. So think about it. We see how our actions influence 80 websites every day. So we learn from that, and we adapt our strategy. We don't do the same thing every day. We do only what works for the campaigns that we believe it will work. Because there will be times when some techniques will work for one client and not for the other one. So we start to have a gut feeling what works and what doesn't, just because we learn from our experience, just because we have access to those insights. That's my presentation. I hope you get value from it. Thank you very much. So I'm sure you have lots of questions. And I didn't spot anyone sleeping, so thank you very much.
Hey, Cosmin, first of all,
I don't understand the language, but Igit can translate for you.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, thank you for sharing your all trade rights with us, because I feel that you pay attention to not being a promotional for your material, so that you explain everything for Excel version as well. I think it's very valuable thing, and we can see this kind of actions in many conferences, so thank you for that. I am not sure about that, but if you have to make a forecast for a SEO project, it's too hard to complete because there's too much metrics and you need to get many data together, and your Excel needs to support more than 1 million rows as well in some cases. So SEO Monitor is helping us to making all those actions in just short clicks. It's not a promotional sentence, and I just sharing my feelings. So it's so complex project, and it also requires to be a bit geeky for a data perspective.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, then just let us know. And
so yeah, the product automates everything that I told you
exactly.
here. But you can, not easily, but you can do it with spreadsheets and scripts as well. So it's not rocket science. It's just an approach that you can adopt. And once you adopt it, you will see that you will become more successful.
Exactly.
Okay, if you don't have a question, I will just ask somebody randomly. You have to have a question. I'm sure those spreadsheets were not that easy. Okay, you ask me something, please. Yes. Yeah. So it wasn't easy to understand because of there's a lot of data.
Yes, there's a lot of data, and we all know that it's hard to combine the data and look at it. We all love to see the results, but
I know what you're saying. It's not an easy stuff to do, but you have to go that extra mile, especially today when everything is so challenging in this environment, and it's hard to cope because whenever a system is abused, and today that's happening, everybody wants to be visible in Google, right? So whenever it's abused, it's very hard to cope there, right? It's very hard to work in that particular industry. So if you don't do that extra mile, you will not be able to compete with everybody else. Especially if you're, think about it, if you're a freelancer or an in-house team. Again, an agency may have more experience, they are exposed to more data, they have more tools. So it's very important to do that, to work on that and really understand and gain control. Especially today. It was easier before. It was easier when you could spam Google. It was easier when you could use black hat techniques. It's really hard now. And it's not easy to nail content marketing campaigns. It's really hard. So at least it's important to have that efficiency, to be effective with your strategy. So instead of using resources, wasting resources, just use them in a direction that you validate, that you know it works. Thank you.
Sorry that I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you again.